Yo, I want to try to persuade you to think a certain way. I'm going to try. It's probably not going to work. That has never stopped me before. There are a lot of voices on social media. There's a lot of voices in society. And the majority of those voices try to convince you to not like yourself. I hope I have your attention now. All of the commentary that they bring is basically trying to get you to see others as better than you. The highlight images that you see on social media, people are posting about their lives. Oh my gosh, I just came from vacation. Oh my gosh, I just got married. Oh, we just had a kid. Oh, my money is so good, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, all of that is seems like it's created just to make you feel bad about yourself. Not even to feel bad about yourself. It's created to create an aversion, to create an aversion within you, an aversion to yourself, to where you're just like, I dislike myself. I want to get away from myself. That's what they're trying to create. I'm not saying that's the way I feel, because I love me. Can't help myself. No, I don't need anybody else. It's a great song. A lot of people are under this idea that they need to get away from themselves in order to be successful or to be accepted. And that's a dangerous way to think. So again, my goal is to try to persuade you into a different frame of mind, a different mindset. I'm going to take you away from that, get you away from being under that I don't know what to call it, but to take you away from being under that idea of diminishing your value so that you can be over it and so that you can get to the place where you say, I know who I am. I know what I bring. I don't have an aversion to myself. I think that's how you say it. I don't have an aversion to myself. No. I have an aversion to messages that try to get me away from loving myself. So that's where I am. So I'm trying, I'm doing my best to try to shape your thoughts today here on the internet. I said there's a lot of voices on social media. Go ahead and add me to the list. But my goal isn't to shape you into what I want you to be. My goal is to shape your thoughts into seeing that you are the best person for the job of living your life. You know what I mean? There's no one else who can do it better than you. Come on. Recognizing the formulas that are used to create an aversion to yourself within you, recognizing those formulas is how you stay safe against it. You don't want to have a life where you're just walking around frowning because you're you. That's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, there are organizations and teams that are working right now to create some scripts for you to listen to and for you to read and for you to watch so that you can have that frowning disposition after watching it. You say, oh, well, I've never saved the world. I've never raced F1 cars and whatever. I have no idea what that is, but they're creating things right now to make you frown about yourself, to make you smile about what you saw on the screen. Oh, I love the movie. I love the song. I love the person, the actor, but me, that's what they want you to feel. I don't feel that about myself. Let me just make that clear. Have you forgotten how powerful you are? Have you forgotten your imagination, how great your imagination is and can be? Have you forgotten the potential that is in you because you are so focused on what everyone else is accomplishing? That was a lot of finger quotes, but that was a lot. But have you forgotten? Have you forgotten who you are? Because you're so aware of how great everybody else is. You're so aware of how many movies such and such played in. So you know what he can do, but you don't know what you can do. That's crazy. You are extremely aware of how many albums such and such has created and how many times she's gone on tour all over the world, but you don't know about your potential and you don't know about who you are. That's crazy. That's crazy. We see people protesting on the outside and protesting a lot of different things. There's been a lot of protests over the last, 7 or 8 years? 7 or 8 years. And the thing that gets to me is there are people who are protesting against themselves. And I'm not trying to be political. No, I don't mean that. What I mean is there are people, and I'm protesting on the outside for social justice and whatnot. That's more of a macrocosm. That's the macrocosm. It's like the outer world. I'm talking about on a micro scale. You see people protesting about things in society, but then there are people who are in their own minds protesting against themselves. And what I mean is we see someone come up and create a company or create an organization and they change the world or whatever, and they become a billionaire or a millionaire, whichever one, it doesn't matter. And it's so easy for us to protest against ourselves and say, well, I grew up in a single parent household, which I did, and we'll say, well, I got to count myself out then because they grew up with both parents. So I can't match that. It's like, dude, stop. We'll look at it and say, well, they went to a certain college and I didn't go to that college. It's like, dude, stop. And we have learned to protest against ourselves, and it's not healthy. So I'm going to say, again, back to my persuasion, I'm trying to persuade. I'm going to say, claim the future that you want, claim the destiny that you want, claim the situation that you want to be in, claim that, claim it, feel it, step into it. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't. Ignore that. And enjoy what it feels like to pretend to be there. I think that people have an aversion to themselves and they want to get away from themselves because they forgot how to use their imagination and they forgot how to pretend. They forgot what it's like to be a kid at heart. They forgot what it's like to enjoy, wonder and adventure. They forgot what that feels like. That's what I think happened. So I think it's good to turn back around and just enjoy your imagination. It doesn't matter how old you are. I don't care how old you are. You could be 50, you could be 60, you could be 70. You're 70 years old and you've never gone on tour. Like you've never been a famous singer who traveled around the world singing in front of thousands and thousands and thousands of people. You've never done that before and you're 70. Okay, right now in this moment, just pretend that you have. Just pretend like you're doing it now. And enjoy that. And that right there should bring you happiness, gladness. Simple as that. Because, when we were 10 and we did that, you couldn't stop us from smiling. We were in front of the mirror. I still remember being a kid. And we were in front of the mirror and we were just like, we're imagining, oh, I have a new song. I have a new song. We were imagining that we were the artist that we were listening to on the CD. In my generation, it was CDs. We didn't have the digital. Digital wasn't as popular. But when we were 10, we imagined that we were our favorite singer and we were on stage in front of 10,000 people. Oh my gosh, I have the microphone. The lights are on me. The cameras have started. Everybody's chanting my name. Davin, 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 Davin. And at 10 years old, that was all we needed. And we felt happy, we felt excited. Who said we can't have that same feeling today? The only thing that has changed is that we've been introduced to ideas that make us want to run away from ourselves. I say, forget those messages. Get back to the mirror. Hear the crowd screaming your name in imagination. Millions of people have a daily routine of welcoming ideas that cause aversion to themselves, that cause this inner aversion to themselves. Millions of people have a daily routine. You wake up, you stretch, and immediately get on social media and start watching videos. And you're like, oh, I posted a video 2 days ago and that video got 6 views and no likes. what is it called? Logistics? What is it called when you look at the whatever the thing, and you say, oh, 98% were people who don't follow me and blah blah blah, whatever. And so so you get on the internet, you look at all of that stuff, you get discouraged. You look at your 6 views, you get discouraged, and then you go look at somebody else that you follow, and it's like, oh, they got 40,000 views, 6,000 likes, 1,000 comments, and so you, man, it's messed up to talk about stuff like this, but it's real and it's authentic. And you go into the comment section, you see they have 1,000 comments, and you say, oh, well, if I could just be a part of the conversation. And that's how it starts. And that's when you woke up to that. That's your routine. And then after you log into one social media and you go through that, you log out of that, you can't deal with the real world because you're like, so you jump into another social media platform. You just go straight to the next one. The same thing happens over there. What is it called when it's not called the algorithm. The algorithm is a whole different beast, which I don't care about algorithms. People worship the algorithm. Lord algorithm, how might I serve thee today? Anybody got time for no algorithm, bro? The algorithm out of my face. But it's called something. Who knows? Whatever. Drop it in the comments. Somebody else. I don't know what it's called, but somebody will probably let me know what it's called, or as soon as I finish recording this video. But anyway, it's a routine. People have these routines where they'll log into a social media platform, get discouraged because everything is going other people's way, and then boom, they'll try to get into the conversation, because they see that one of the comments from somebody else has like 400 likes on the comment. Oh, maybe if I could just create a comment that gets that many likes, maybe I can have some people come to my page and follow me. It's like, you got to let it go. It's crazy because we wake up and we have this bright light inside of us. And instead of treasuring that light, we will jump into these social media platforms and we'll start to dim that light, and cause it to flicker because we have a bright light. We get on social media. Social media tells us that we're not enough. Somebody else is better than us. And it just causes this flicker effect because we're like, oh, I still believe in myself, kind of, sort of. Oh, there was another video. That was funny. I'm not really funny. Oh, that was a video. That was some history stuff about some terrifying things. And that's really popular. Oh, I don't have content like that. Oh, there's an inspirational content. I do inspirational content and they're similar, but they have more views and they have more followers and they're a different ethnicity. And it's like, bro, oh my gosh, bro, calm down. And the light starts to flicker. It's kind of like walking into a party and the party is already happening and we want to come in and be important in the party as well. And we just don't figure out how to do it. And I think what some people do in that instance, and they're in the party, if we're keeping this illustration, they will look at the person who's the most popular in the party, or the 2 or 3 people, and they will praise them and wish that they were that person. And they will kind of just fade into the background of the party. But they're not doing it from a sense of like, yo, I feel a union with everybody here. I feel like I'm part of this. No, they really feel like I'm a part of this party, but I'm not the center of attention like I want to be. So I'm just a nothing. I'm just a number. And that I don't like that. I hate that. I hate that. I don't like that. And that's what people are doing. I wish that more of us understood that we are the perfect person for the job. I don't know another way to say it. I am the perfect person to do what I was put on earth to do. I don't know anybody else who can do what I was put on earth to do. That's my job. You can't do it. It's me, I think it's funny when people insult each other because insults are nothing more than some person trying to create an imbalance. I think we're all equal. I think everybody's equal. But when you insult someone, it's like you're trying to make them feel inferior and you're trying to throw the balance out of whack. And I think that's what people do sometimes. They try to insult people. And I think insults can create aversions inside of people, aversions to themselves, to where they're just like, well, if I had more money, I wouldn't get insulted. Or if I was prettier, I wouldn't get insulted, or more handsome. If I lived in a better neighborhood, I wouldn't get insulted. If I was a manager at a company instead of being a crew member or an entry-level employee, then I wouldn't get insulted. Nothing is sufficient. Nothing will ever work. There will never come a time where you will fully satisfy every single person on earth. It won't happen. Imagine believing that the solution to all your problems is just to not be you. Do you know how discouraging that is, man? That is crazy. I'll say it again. Imagine believing that the solution to all of your problems is to just be somebody else. If I was someone else, all of my problems would be solved. That is not okay. And there are millions of people, hundreds of thousands of people who live with that thought. Again, no disrespect to social media, because social media does its job, but social media caters to that. That idea of, if I was someone else, then I would be more successful. It's not okay. It's not okay. It's crazy to me that a lot of people are making decisions that they regret later on in life. They make decisions, permanent decisions, to try to be someone that they're not in order to win approval of others. We've seen it. We've seen it in the news. We've seen it in celebrities. We've seen it in people in our environments, where they will make decisions that they regret later on in life. But it's because they thought that the solution to their problem was to be someone else, to be like someone else, to transform themselves, to do things that just pull them away from who they are. They're not content with being themselves. I couldn't imagine what it would feel like to have this daily irritation of just being yourself. I think I like the other thing. I like making people irritated with me. There's a lot of people who are irritated with me because I'm just me. I'm authentic. I don't insult people. I'm not a disrespectful person. I do not disrespect people. Nope. And the first person on my list to not disrespect is myself. So I will never disrespect myself. And it irritates people in a way that I never thought would irritate people. But imagine being irritated every single day just to be yourself. I don't have the financial situation that I need to start my business. So I just don't want to be me. I want to be somebody else. Or I know some ladies who have they feel like, I'm pushing 40 and my friends are pushing 40. And some of my female friends will say things like, well, maybe some surgeries will keep things looking fresh. And I'm like, man, don't think like that. Don't worry about none of that stuff. But can you imagine just being irritated with being you because you've seen these images? My female friends have seen these images of these celebrity women who are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. And it's like, oh my gosh, they look like this and they look like that. And it's, ma'am, she's an actress. She has pressures that, she's an actress. She has pressures that you don't worry about that. She has to do things. She has to be on camera and be in movies and whatnot. She's got problems too. You don't want to know her problems. She's got problems too. No disrespect to her, but you don't want to know her problem. No, she's perfect. I'm going to think about it and all I have to do is save up $12,000. It sucks, man. It sucks. My guy friends, because it's equal, it's both sides. I got guy friends who they're irritated with themselves as well. Everything is all about success. Everything is all about sex. I gotta have more sex than the next guy. Bruh, that does not make you valuable. Can you imagine just being irritated with your life because you don't have a lot of sex? That has to be the most, oh my gosh. Now let's talk about it. Cause I got guy friends, you know, they won't watch this video. My guy friends don't care about what I talk about. But, you know, I got guy friends who are so obsessed with sex, and it's like, bruh, you do realize that let's just take one possible path of you having sex often. You could end up having a child with someone who hates you or someone that you end up hating. That is a reality. And for most of my guy friends, that's already the reality. And you mean to tell me that even having that child with someone who hates you or who you hate now, that's not enough to stop you from doing the activity that could make it happen again? That's kind of crazy. But again, what are we talking about? It's an aversion. They have an aversion to themselves. I don't know a lot of guys who can feel content with studying and staying to themselves and just, you know, just staying to themselves. I don't know a lot of guys who are content to be themselves or to be with themselves. And that's a true statement. I love me. I love spending time with me. I'd rather spend time with me than anybody else. Most of the time. Because I'm human. Hey, let the reader understand I'm human. But I couldn't imagine being irritated with myself because I don't have as many encounters as somebody. That's kind of crazy. I know guys who are super focused on success, which is fine because that's, you know, it's what we're supposed to do. But I know guys who don't, they're irritated in themselves in a way that they believe that their success has to come from them and them alone because they've read these stories of self-made millionaires who didn't need anybody else's help. Bruh, that was a publicity stunt. It was a promotional story to make you feel more attached to them. And at the end of the day, it was a formula to create an aversion in you to you. I hope I'm using the word aversion right. I feel like I am, but I feel like I'm not. You get what I'm saying. I trust that the viewer is intelligent enough to make up for my weaknesses. I know what I'm trying to say. Leave me alone and go make your own video. It's hard making videos. Especially where I'm just talking in front of a camera and sharing ideas. It's tough. Leave me alone. Cut me some slack. Don't let your computer tell you that you shouldn't like yourself. That's crazy. The computer is there to help you get some work done. You know, that's what it's for. Who cares if no one has asked for your autograph? Who cares? Who cares? Just if you really want somebody to ask you for your autograph, just imagine that. And that should make you feel joy. But no, let's talk about that for a second, because I don't think people understand what it feels like to be famous. I don't think people understand what it feels like to be successful, sought after. Imagine in January of 2026, 200,000 people came to your book signing to get your autograph. January of 2026, right? Everything is going well. You haven't shared your political views, so people think that you're a cool person. You haven't chosen an affiliation. 200,000 people came to get your autograph. You signed them. You're like, my hand hurts, but I love it. People are asking for my autograph. And in January of 2027, a year later, you drop another book. But it's been 12 months of sharing your ideas and what you feel about politics and certain agendas and certain ideologies. And yeah, so you drop another book in January of 2027 and 20 people come to get your autograph. And 3 of those 20 people actually came to get your autograph so that they can draw a big X on it and say that you're trash. So yeah, imagine that. You went from 200,000 to 20 people. And then there was a handful of them that didn't even want your autograph. They just wanted to just disrespect you in your face. Imagine that. I would rather never have anyone ask for my autograph than to go from 200,000 to 20 and then a handful. I'm just saying. So it doesn't matter if no one's asking for your autograph. Who cares? It shouldn't make you not like yourself. Love yourself. Go into your imagination closet and just be like, oh, I imagine being at the such and such center and people came to get my autograph. And then as soon as you come out of that imagination closet, bro, just come back to real life and just be like, oh, that felt good. I'm satisfied. Excuse me. I'm satisfied. I'm not gonna try to run away from myself until, hold on. I'll say this and move on. I'm not going to try to be someone else and jump into shenanigans and disrespect myself in order to get this situation of people coming and asking for my autograph. I'm not gonna do that. Nah. People with a strong aversion to themselves, they are in love with strangers. And because they're in love with strangers, or they idolize strangers, because they idolize strangers, they will actually find ways to become comfortable doing strange things. Think about it. Because they don't like themselves, they idolize strangers. They want to do whatever it takes to get away from themselves. So they'll do strange things so that they can become a stranger to themselves, so they can hopefully one day learn to idolize themselves. And I think that was a lot right there, but I think that's a true statement. I think it's a powerful thing that people do. They'll do strange things to become a stranger because it's easier for them to idolize a stranger than it is for them to idolize themselves, because they don't like themselves. I don't think that anyone is supposed to be doing that. I think that's crazy. You know, just because you're not famous, and you know, just because you don't have a platinum selling album and you're not on tour doesn't mean that you're unlucky. Just because you don't have a New York Times best-selling book doesn't mean that you're unlucky. It doesn't mean that someone's better than you. Now, don't get me wrong. They have achieved some things, and I think that's really impressive. I think it's good to praise people for their achievements without having to feel like we're less than them because we haven't achieved it yet. I think that's crazy. But you're not unlucky just because you haven't achieved that. You didn't make it into the NFL or the NBA. Who cares? You're not unlucky. You're not unlucky. Your purpose is somewhere else. So you don't have to try to get away from yourself. You don't have to dislike yourself because you never made it into the NBA. Do you love playing basketball in general? Okay, why would you allow an organization's approval to dictate how you feel about yourself? The NBA didn't accept you. Who cares? Guess what? The game of basketball does. You know, I'm not good at basketball, but I still remember growing up and being on a basketball court with the homies and just playing, and we enjoyed playing basketball. Who cares if we don't get into the NBA? Them telling me no doesn't mean that I should tell myself no. I'm still going to go back and get on the court and play some ball. I'm trash at basketball, but so who cares? There's got to be somebody that I can beat. So let me find them. And, you know, school them real quick, you know, show them some pointers. They get better than me, and then I'll be like, all right, man, I'm back at square one of not being a good basketball player. It doesn't matter if you're not from the town that someone else is from. Oh, they're from blah, blah, blah town, and that's why they were able to be more successful. No, don't worry about that. Well, even though I was born in this city, I'm going to start speaking with an accent and pretend that I'm from somewhere else, and I'm going to learn everything I can about this other town, and I'm just going to recreate my story and just lie to people about where I'm from. That is crazy. Don't do that. Love yourself. Love yourself. I said at the beginning that I wanted to persuade you. And I think that, I guess, the reality is I want to persuade you to have compassion on yourself. There's no one who should have an aversion to themselves. You shouldn't feel like you have to get away from yourself in order to be happy. That's not okay. It's not. Have compassion for you. Have compassion on you. Love yourself. Love yourself. At the end of the day, you are the best you. There will never be a better you.